I'm touched. I'm really touched. Every speaker is my highlight, but every guest is my highlight too. Every one of you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming at such a snowy Sunday morning. It's great to have you. And I'm still nervous, you know. It's making a conference is exciting, but also makes you nervous. So please forget my nervousness. So, hello, Mr. Ren. Thank you for coming from China. I'm very honored. Welcome, my friends, to start the annual conference rally here at DLD. So, what's the plan for the next 2.5 days? What's the plan? As you know, is our motto. But this is not just a conversation, no starter. It's a very urgent question. We all know it. Drastic changes have been driving our societies and industries over the last year, leaving us speechless, planless at first moment. But pragmatic and optimistic as we always are, we really have to focus now and ask ourselves, what's the plan? How can we cope with the impact of this unprecedented change? Allow me to quote John Lilly, partner at Greylock and a former DLD speaker, to make you understand what went through my head while creating DLD17, the program. John Lilly said, technology isn't a tool or something anymore we use to get a job done. It's the actual water we are swimming in. It's the way we talk, it's the way we work, it's the way we think. This was leading me to many more questions. How do we catch up with the new world of work? Which long-standing certainties and societal values are challenged by a robotic future? How do we deal with the ethical dilemmas in the upcoming era of genomics? How can media build trust in a post-truth age with an overflow of information? Quantum computing, do we have it already on our radar? Michele Mosca, are you here? You have to listen to him. And on the business side, which innovations are going to disrupt value chains? How can tech enable sustainable growth? What are the next urban ecosystems? And which metaphorical horse are the investors and VCs betting on next? Within this new reality, spiced up by even a faster pace of change, we need a little bit of predictability. We need a plan. So to keep your eyes on the road, not on the map, on the road, not on the map, we have created a packed program on 2 stages. Both are equally as good. You have to choose, but this is life, to choose. And yes, our program is about artificial intelligence and tech and money and media, but it's also about storytelling, about creativity, vision, art, and scientific breakthroughs. I believe we can't understand the complex new world while only looking in one direction. Let's burst our own filter bubble, listen outside of our echo chambers, so that we don't get fooled by plans that are only linear. Let's overcome the boundaries in our own head, open our eyes to that what's around us. And to all of those who only look to Silicon Valley for inspiration, get to know your closer neighborhood. Here in southern Bavaria, we have a very unique ecosystem of world-class universities, smart entrepreneurs, and global industry champions. I see the friends from BMW, I see the friends from Infineon, from Airbus. I see so many friends from this super southern hub. You really have, all of you who are from abroad, you have to get to know what's going on in the area around Munich. It's really cool stuff. You will hear it later on. Here it's an amazing super hub for turning visions into reality. Turning visions into reality, Jeff. Autonomous driving, urban air mobility, and additive industrial manufacturing, to just name a few. Super cool companies. Where's the next page? Sorry. This is not TED. It's not, it's not exercised. It's a spontaneous speech. And now, as always, I invite you to learn from 170 incredible speakers during 85 excellent sessions. But please, don't just sit and listen. Don't be passive. This is not school. DLD is a very much alive and proactive community. Be part of it. Communicate, ask questions. And to all those of you who will enter the stage in the next days, don't measure your success by audience numbers. Just get the message out here. And now I have the pleasure of introducing you to a remarkable journalist and a great colleague and friend who worked with me on taking DLD to the next level over the last 16 months. I thank him for his inspiration and his great passion. Please welcome Dominik Wichmann.
Who is from abroad? Who's not from Germany? Oh, wow. So almost 50–60%. Is Jürgen Schüttler already here? No, because he once told me a nice little joke about Germans being on stage and trying to be entertaining. I'll let you know this joke. So is anybody from France here? No? One from France, okay. What's your name? Welcome. There are a lot of Germans here and some guys from the UK. So there are 3 guys in the room, a French guy named François. I don't want to offend you, sorry. François, a German guy called Fritz, and a British guy called James, and a judge. And the judge comes in and says, "Gentlemen, I have bad news for you. Everybody of you is going to be sentenced to death. But I have good news as well. You have a last wish." So he turns to the French guy first and says, "François, what's your last wish?" And François says, "I'd like to have a good meal and a glass of wine." So the judge replies and says, "I didn't expect anything else from a French guy, so of course." It's this cliché thing, I'm sorry. And then he turns to Fritz and says, "Fritz, what's your last wish?" And Fritz says, "I want to give a lecture and everybody has to listen to me. I'm talking about the truth." "Okay, Fritz, you get your lecture, no worries." Then he turns to the British guy and says, "James, what's your last wish?" And James says, "I'd like to be shot before the German guy is giving his lecture." So, no worries. I'm not going to give another lecture or an introduction, but I want to thank you, Steffi, a lot for her kind and charming and interesting introduction. And I would add just a few words. Within the last 13 years, we probably seldomly had a program with so many items on the agenda, and above all, such a wealth of items, which is why it is a far fuller agenda than the previous years, and that's also the reason why we met so early today. Even those of you who have attended DLD conference quite often will meet many new faces, will get inspired by many new topics, and of course, will meet many, many new people. And last but not least, we're interested in exactly that, in people, in putting people center stage. And that also applies to the topics for the next 2.5 days. We should not forget, it's about people, and technology is there for humans. And no, it is not the other way around. Now, that definitely applies to all the topics to be addressed here, the most certainly to any discussion of the topic of artificial intelligence. And you're going to hear a lot about artificial intelligence within the next days. Perhaps the best thing I do think about artificial intelligence, though, is that it forces us to think long and hard about what is special about us humans' natural intelligence. A man who has consistently reminded us in the DLD team and on various DLD conferences what it means to be a human, what it means to be a true mensch in the sense of the word, is our co-chairman Yossi Vardi. Everybody who met him will probably agree that he is a surfeit of all those characteristics that go to make up a human being. Yossi is cordial, he is smart, he is witty, he's lively, and he's very loving, and above all, he's incredibly funny. Let me give you a little example of the sense of humor Yossi has. When I said to him a couple of months ago that I had been infected by the startup fever too, and I'm planning to start my own business, he wrote me an email, and I would like to quote one crucial sentence in it. He said, Dominic, never forget, no, he would pronounce it differently. Dominic, never forget the Yossi Vardi method for happiness and success. Number 1, have no bosses. Number 2, have no employees. No, it's the best now. Number 3, have no customers. Number 4, have never any need for working capital. And most important, number 5, always sleep in the afternoon. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I please ask you for a big round, no, may I please ask you for an enthusiastic round of applause for our co-chairman, advisor, mover, shaker, and above all, friend, Mr. Yossi Vardi.
You see what happens when you are not protecting well your intellectual property. You give a guy some intimate advice, and then he goes and tells it to all the world. So where are you, Dominique? So how we are going to keep our relative advantage now? And I don't know why all of you are laughing. I wrote it from experience of 74 years. I try to concentrate the most important things in my life, and you are laughing at it. It's really very humiliating. Who is here, who is sleeping every day in the afternoon? Raise your hand. Only this lady in the lady in the blue thing. She happened to be my wife. Other than her, a friend of us, a good friend of mine, told me, Yossi, is it true that you sleep every day in the afternoon? I said, yes. He said, your wife is also sleeping every day in the afternoon? I said, yes. He asked me, can I ask you a personal question? I said, go ahead. He asked me, before you sleep in the afternoon, what are you doing? I told him, why should I do anything? I can't go to sleep, so this is much better. So try it. If you don't believe me, it's important. Ask Ariana Huffington. She just came with a book, and this is a very good advice. I want to thank, there are so many people to thank for doing it. I don't see Hubert is here. He will come. So this thing is actually reflecting, or started by reflecting the interest of Hubert and turning them into kind of a public discussion. We never thought where this thing will go. I want to thank Mr. Cullen, that without him authorizing the budget, we cannot do anything. Big scream in honor of Mr. Cullen. That was not good enough. I need you. Mr. Cullen, why don't you stand up? This event is going leaps and bounds. We have this year, I think, like 50% more people than last year, and I think we should, Steffi, we should move into some really place where we can accommodate 30, 40,000 people, so we can have a real conference next year. Mr. Cullen, don't get pale. We will try to find sponsors. Anybody who wants to sponsor next year 30,000 event, talk to Steffi. Last question. Who was here before? Raise your hand. Who was not before? Raise your hand. About 40% were before, 20% were not before. Another 40% don't have any idea what I'm talking about. My role, actually I have one role, and then I have to get off the stage. I have to get your adrenaline going. You know, I have to get you loose. I have to get you open, because the difference between this conference and other conference, we don't want you to sit like for the next 2 days. We have to get you loose. If we get you loose, we will have happy customers. So let's start with some mental gymnastics. Number one, anybody who is willing to take his jacket off and throw it in the air, go and do it. 1, 2, 3. Guys, get loose. Throw your jacket in the air. Good, good. Stand up and throw it in the air. Not enough. Guys, what about you? Hey, you are a bunch of statues. Go ahead, take your jacket. Cullen, show an example. Lead the way. Okay, now when I count to 3, those of you who have been here already experienced it. When I count, you can throw your this. Yeah, it's not a jacket. It's a good start. It's a good start. You have to work, but you will go places. When I count to 3, scream as strong as you can. 1, 2, 3. Very good. After 14 years, you really know how to do it. When I count to 3, knock with your foot on the floor. 1, 2, 3. Okay, enough. The building will fall. Now we will do what we do every year. Those who know it know it. When I count to 3, only after I count to 3, turn around and shake the hand to the guy who sits exactly behind you. Exactly behind you. 1, 2, 3. We have a terrific program with the bright and the smartest speakers. Enjoy the conference and see you next year. Thank you very much.